Remember when Android was supposed to be the open and free phone? That was Google's whole pitch for like 20 years, whereby if you wanted freedom, if you wanted to install whatever you want on your phone, if you didn't want to be locked into one company's walled garden, well, you definitely bought an Android. Well, that might be changing. So here's what's going on. I'm on this ARS Technica article, and it's explaining how Google's rolling out this new developer verification system. And basically, if you want people to install your app on an Android phone, you now have to verify your identity with Google or one of their approved partners. Their reasoning is that scam apps are getting out of control, which honestly, fair point, they're not wrong. But here's the catch. If you skip the verification, Android might just block people from installing your app. And it doesn't matter if it's not even on the Play Store. It doesn't matter if you want nothing to do with Google at all. It doesn't matter if your app is completely legit. And that's exactly why you're seeing sites like Keep Android Open pop up. A bunch of developers are saying, wait, this really isn't about security, this is about control. Because once you're the one deciding who's allowed to publish software, you're not just protecting people anymore, you're becoming a gatekeeper. As a matter of fact, over 71 organizations from 23 countries have already signed a petition letter made out to the CEO and founders of Google themselves, demanding that they resign this new rule they're supposed to be going ahead with in the name of privacy and internet freedom. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a Google is bad rant. App scams are a real problem. Most people have no way to verify what they're installing, and some level of protection probably does help most users. But here's the question. I don't see anyone really asking, where does this stop? Because every gate starts with a good reason. It always starts where we're just trying to keep you safe, and then slowly that becomes the norm. Look at social media. It started as a way to connect with people, and then came moderation, then ranking, then decisions about who gets boosted and what gets buried. And now a handful of companies basically decide what most of the world sees online every single day. Not because they're evil, just because they control the algorithms and the infrastructure. And whoever controls the infrastructure ends up deciding what is allowed onto it. Honestly, what worries me isn't what Google's doing right now. It's where this goes in 5 to 10 years. Because once people get used to asking for permission, well, permission just becomes the new normal system. And that changes what kind of innovation is even possible. Imagine if YouTube needed approval to launch, or Bitcoin. Imagine every founder having to convince a couple of giant corporations before anybody's even allowed to try their product. A huge chunk of what we now take for granted online simply wouldn't exist in that world. That's the whole appeal of permissionless innovation. It makes it so that anyone, anywhere can build something and just put it out there with no approval needed. And that's where keepandroidopen.org is coming into play and why people are so adamant on reciting this rule. And honestly, part of why I find something like projects like Qortal interesting. It's not trying to be another app store or another platform. No, it's actually trying something entirely different. It's building an alternative internet where apps, messaging, identity, and data all live on a peer-to-peer network instead of inside a company's walled garden. There's no app stores, no central authority deciding what's allowed to exist or not. That means there is no one standing between the people building things and the people using them. It's not perfect, nothing is, but it raises a real question. What if the internet wasn't built around centralized platforms at all? What if it was built around networks instead and entirely peer-to-peer? And that's really the bigger point here. This isn't actually about Android or even about Google. It's about where software is heading in the future. Do we want a future where you need permission to build something? Or one where anybody can just build it, ship it, and see what happens? Because the moment permission becomes the default, the internet's already changed. And most people won't even notice until it's already done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.